When Ronald Read passed away in 2014, the world was shocked. A janitor, left behind over $8 million. No lottery wins. No family inheritance. Just decades of quiet, consistent investing. Meanwhile, a Harvard-educated finance executive with a mansion, pools, and sports cars went completely broke during the 2008 crisis. So what happened? How did someone with no financial education and experience outsmart the top finance experts? This book has the answer, and no, it's not just about math. It's about behavior. Success in finance isn't driven by complex formulas or spreadsheets. It's not a hard science, it's a soft skill. And that soft skill is your psychology around money, how you think, feel, and react when making financial decisions. In this video, we break down the most powerful lessons from the psychology of money by Morgan Housel. The content on this channel is for entertainment and informational purposes only. Lesson 1: Look at broader patterns. We love studying extreme success stories like CEO, millionaires, and try to emulate their strategy. But can we replicate their strategy fully and achieve the same results? No, because the more extreme success we look at, the more likely it was influenced by a large amount of luck. Bill Gates built a tech empire, but he was one of the few teenagers in the 1970s with access to a computer. That wasn't skill. That was rare luck with 1 in a million chance. Undeniable that he worked hard on top, but he had a great kickstart. And it works the other way, too. Some people fail not because they're lazy or make bad choices, but because they were born into war, poverty, or instability. Not all success is due to hard work, and not all poverty is due to laziness. Keep this in mind when judging people, including yourself. So instead of copying the outliers, look for broad, repeatable patterns. You may not be able to replicate Warren Buffett's exact strategy with the same outcome, but you can build the habit of saving, investing, staying patient, and managing risk. Lesson 2: Have a sense of enough. One of the hardest financial skills is knowing when to stop. The downfall of many smart, wealthy people isn't that they didn't earn enough, it's that they didn't know when to stop reaching. Rajat Gupta was a millionaire who wanted to become a billionaire. He risked everything with insider trading to get to his goal, and he lost it all and ended up in jail. Was it worth it? No, there is no reason to risk what you have and need for what you don't have and don't need. He risked his freedom that he needed for extra millions he did not need. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to chase the next thing: more money, more success, more attention. But every time you reach a goal, the goalpost moves. And to reach the next one, you might have to take a bigger risk. Do we stop to ask why we chase more? It is refreshing to hear from the author that being satisfied with what you have is not conservatism, it is not potential money left on the table. My personal experience is, whenever I chase more, I feel agitated, stressed that I am not in a place where I want to be. Whereas when I accept and give thanks to what I have already, it brings peace instantly. I enjoy and value peace more. Morgan lays out the same idea: happiness equals results minus expectations. If expectations always rise, happiness stays just out of reach. So instead of always asking, what's next? Try asking, why am I chasing for more? To impress others? What's my enough number? What's the point where I stop chasing and start living? Because peace doesn't come from having more. It comes from knowing that what you have is already enough. Lesson 3: The magic of compounding. We often think financial success comes from being brilliant, taking huge risks, or hitting once-in-a-lifetime returns. But the truth is much simpler, and way more powerful. The key to wealth is staying in the game long enough to let compounding do the heavy lifting. Warren Buffett is a perfect example. His net worth? Over $84.5 billion. But here's the kicker: $84.2 billion of that came after his 50th birthday. That is 99%. He started investing at 10 years old, was worth $1 million by age 30, and just kept going. Yes, Buffett is a skilled investor, but his real secret isn't brilliance. It's time. For compounding to work, you don't need the highest returns. You need good enough returns that you can stick with for the longest time possible. I was thinking the same applies for other stuff in life like the gym, YouTube channel. All need consistency multiplied by time to show result. I loved when the author highlighted that if there were a one-page book on investing, it would be titled, Shut Up and Wait. And inside would just be a long-term chart. Lesson 4, Becoming Wealthy versus Staying Wealthy. Building wealth and keeping wealth require opposite mindsets. Getting wealthy takes optimism, believing in yourself, taking risk, betting on yourself and taking action boldly. Staying wealthy takes frugality, and a healthy dose of paranoia, the kind that whispers, this could all disappear tomorrow. Humility is key in acknowledging that past luck might be not easily replicable, therefore it is wiser to protect what you already have. This lesson explains how even really high earners could be broke. People often lose fortunes not because they didn't know how to earn, but because they didn't know how to keep what they already have. Lesson 5, Tail Events. Be okay with failing. Most people think success comes from steady wins. But in reality, a small number of things drive nearly all the results. One video can launch a YouTube channel. One product can build a billion-dollar company. One investment can return more than the rest of the portfolio combined. This is called a tail event, an outlier. And it's often the only one that matters. Think about Walt Disney. He made over 400 cartoons that lost money, then created Snow White and Seven Dwarfs that became so successful it erased all the company debt and even won an Oscar prize. Loved Jeff Bezos saying related to the Fire Phone failure, if you think that is a big failure, we are working much bigger ones right now. He knew that things flopping is normal. Why do we expect to win on the first or second try? Just keep going, put in the reps, then your tail event will show. Lesson 6, Show off your generosity, not your stuff. Ever seen someone driving a beautiful car and thought, wow, that guy is awesome? Probably not. What you really thought was, wow, imagine if I had that car. That's the paradox. We think flashy things make people admire us, but they usually just make people imagine themselves in our shoes. They don't see you. They see a version of them, with more money. Generosity and kind behavior will get you more admiration for you as a person than showing off shiny, extravagant stuff. Lesson 7, Wealth is unspent money. When most people say they want to be a millionaire, what they really mean is, I want to spend $1 million. That is the complete opposite of being a millionaire. Being a millionaire in fact is having $1 million not spent, invested in assets that will give you freedom of choice in the future. That luxury car, the giant house, the designer shoes, those are signs of spending, not signs of wealth. Wealth is invisible, and many modest wealthy people run around unnoticed. The rich on the hand are easy to spot. Be cautious however who you look up to, as there are individuals who look rich but behind the curtains a mountain of debt is hidden or even insolvency. Lesson 8, Save. The building block of wealth creation is saving and living beyond your means. This is not brand new information. The deeper part is understanding where our expenditure goes, how much on needs versus desires. What are these desires fueled from? Is it to show off or impress others? Because the matter of fact is lifestyle can creep driven by the intention to show the world, look, I have made it. Look, I am successful. This is what I have to show for it. But why do we need to show at all? Lesson 9, Surprise. Saving can fund future purchases, but even more important, save you from the curveballs thrown by life. Unprecedented things can happen. Almost none of the big events were foreseen, but they left a lasting impact like dot-com bubble, 2008 financial crisis, 2020 coronavirus. Having savings set aside is like a soft cushion that catches you landing when the world is collapsing. A 6-month emergency fund can make all the difference. Lesson 10, Do what works for you. Have you had that friend who had that great investment opportunity you cannot miss out on? Has it worked? Many times it does not. A better approach than jumping on every trendy finance advice would be figuring out your financial goals. What do you want to do? How much money do you need and by when? This will dictate if you can lock down some portion of your money in long-term investment or rather holding on to cash makes sense for immediate expenses. Figure out what works for you and what game you are playing. Follow that. Do not try to switch tactics and copy others because supposedly they got rich quick through it. Think critically and consider if the new idea you heard about aligns with your game. The author does not chase the highest ROI investments, does not pick individual stocks. He rather chases maximum peace of mind. He has bought his own house, has cash and index fund investments. That works for him. I loved how he said it does not need to be more complex than that. That is it for the 10 Lessons from Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. If you enjoyed this summary, you are welcome to like and subscribe. Pick up the book if you would like to dig deeper into. Thanks for watching.